While at a vehicle auction, I came across this 1993 BMW 318i. It had front end damage, but it looked like something I could rescue, and I was interested in buying the car. I ended up winning the bid, had the car towed to my friend's driveway, and that brings us to today, where we start the rebuild. Now today behind me is my 1993 BMW 318i, and if you haven't seen the previous video, I'd really recommend checking it out, and I'll make sure to leave a link above. But where we left off with this car is I picked this up from an auction for $450, sight unseen, while I was out of the state. And I came back, and you guys kind of got to see the initial reaction of what I got. And I got a huge boatload of parts sitting in the trunk. Let's take a second just to at least go through those, and then we can kind of file through and see what we need to do. Besides that, we've made some other additions. I also changed the oil.
You're not going outside your usual ghetto garage things with these like brand new parts here. This is high quality premium oil container thing.
I know. Where's your little kitchen takeout tray?
The oil in it was really black. I mean, it was like, looks like it's been sitting there for a while. So that was like a good preventative maintenance measure, along with the 500 bajillion things that I probably need to do. Made some interior upgrades. Finally got a shift knob, but we don't have a radio. So I believe we're gonna have to get a radio in the near future. The glove box is falling apart. The plastic trim is rattling. Some of the door cards are ready to fall off, but that's all stuff that we can fix. But I think for today, we should just at least focus on the front end. We need to start disassembling the crash beam. So as you can see over here, the crash beam is gonna be the first thing that we wanna take off. And we're also gonna replace the nose panel, but most importantly, we're gonna replace the core support. Now, when you do a top-down view of the core support, you'll see where it got hurt. So the core support should be sitting against the frame like so, but since it got pulled out from the accident when this bumper got ripped out, it also caused all of this to develop a crease. Now, for somebody that's a real handy person, a craftsman that really wants to spend the time, you could probably bang this out and put it back in there. But I thought it was much easier just to go out and get the core support itself. So let's take a quick look at all the parts that we have, and then we can get started. So after all the people on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace were driving me nuts by flaking, I actually just went out and bought a brand new nose panel for the car. And luckily they're really cheap. I think it was like 60 bucks for the whole set. Luckily we had the old kidney grills, which I think I actually put one of them upside down. I guess we'll have to sort through that later. But this is really huge. We were looking for this for a long time. This was kind of like the last piece of the puzzle for us in terms of like finding everything. We got a new front bumper. Well, not new, but pretty mangled bumper. But for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong. So this is the bumper that I got. It has no fasteners, literally just the cover. And this might be a temporary bumper for now. I don't know, maybe M3 bumper. We also have Ray's bumper as well, because he just actually did a M3 bumper cover swap in his own car. So there's an opportunity for that as well. So this is kind of just like something we can just slap on just to run the car. And then if we go over to the trunk, just ignore the 2 jugs of oil. Also got a set of headlights. Shout out to Alfredo. He hooked me up with these. He just had them laying up in his garage. They're in pretty decent shape, but I think it'll be a good opportunity to polish them up and make them look nice. And now, a very integral part of the whole repair is actually going to be the front shock absorbers. Now, this is where the front bumper is going to connect on the car. And when you get in a front end accident, this is where it takes all of the impact. So this is going to be almost like your crumple zone on these old BMWs. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these on and see if they're any good. But these look to be in really good shape. The biggest win of them all there it is. Core support. And it's great because it's an OEM part, so it's got even all the little badging and stuff that you get on like an original BMW. I believe they call this the front cross member. So this is what attaches to the shock absorbers itself. So if we were to mock this up, this is where the front shock absorber goes, and this is where it would align when you start putting everything together on the front end of the car. Yeah, what? All right, let's get that out of the way. Okay, so our next step is we need to disassemble these bolts so we can take off these. My God, what is going on here? Look at this masking tape. Look at how many washers. Somebody's been in here. They were messing around. I think they were trying to fix this at one point, but it's so wonky. This is...
Oh my goodness.
I'm shocked the fan is good. Well, it's a little squeaky, but...
I'm surprised about it too.
Doesn't want to come off?
He'll come on. Give it some time. Yeah.
Ouch. Some screws. This one should be really easy to take off.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we focus now on the nose panel?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what's gonna be next. We have some torque bolts, and we have also, it looks like 8mm on the sides. And I believe there's some that are also right here. Yeah, there's 2 bolts on each side here, and I think that will at least knock most of this loose. Not sure about these, but we probably need to take those off because these are for the striking point on the hood. So this is like where the strikers go and they come down. So I think we'll need to take those out as well. And we also want to push these in. I think maybe using like a hole punch or something. These should drop down so we could take this fan out. So this is what I'm using just to kind of push these in, because these plastic fasteners are miserable. Sometimes you just have to break them, but hopefully we don't have to do that today. There you go. That'll buff out. Aha! Even this one feels loose. Let's see what's going on with the AC too. Get out of there. The weirdest plug I've ever seen. Now we can take this guy off too. Yeah, you see how bent this is? This should be sitting flat, very flush, but it's not. It's pretty crooked. Really, like, if you laid this down flat with a sledgehammer and you had some extra time, I think you could bang this back out. But we have it, so might as well take advantage. I don't know if we have these little rubber grommets. That might be actually pretty crucial. All this delicious stuff on the condenser has probably been there for the past 20 years. Okay, so we took everything off on the front end. We got the nose panel off, the cross member, and the core support. As you can see, really mangled. I mean, look at this thing, dude. Look at all this stuff. Oh my God. Anyways, we took this off, and I mean, there's no use in trying to use this thing. It's pretty mangled. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is one, the AC condenser is not square anymore. It's kind of oblong from the hit. So I doubt this thing is holding any sort of Freon gas. I'm not too worried about it since we're in Washington. It doesn't really get that hot here. With the frame itself, I'm really having a hard time seeing if it's straight or not. So Ray and I right now, we're gonna go mock this thing up and see if it actually fits correctly with the straight cross member and core support that we have. Because if we don't do it now, we'll probably forget by tomorrow where everything goes. So we should probably do it right now.
I think that's normal. Looks good. This looks pretty.
Okay. I'm feeling a little more optimistic now.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Ow! You good?
Yeah, I'm
You want
good.
me to hold?
Yeah, it lined up pretty well, but on this side, that's gonna be the most difficult part because the studs are gone. So we're gonna have to come up with some solution. Honestly, I think zip ties.
Zip tie's the way to go.
Is that the way? We got one side, let's see if we can get the other one now. I think those CY ones, those like industrial grade.
Yeah, those are so much better.
At first I was kind of grossed out by the whole idea of the zip tie. But now that half of the repairs that we've done are with zip ties, I'm kind of growing accustomed to it. Kind of like it now. Okay, so Ray and I have been fighting away with this car. Hands are black, and we got the core support all lined up, but as you can see, we're holding zip ties on one side over here. Now, what happened is there's these studs that come out. So this would sit here, and this is where the studs would come out, but obviously from the accident, this got ripped out. The solution would be to separate this from the old core support, because this actually goes over here like so, and just got ripped out. So if we rip this out, hammer this flat, it may be just enough to get some bite on these studs. But we're gonna just try this for now. I think we're just both pretty eager to see what it looks like with all this put together. So we're gonna put the nose panel on, we're gonna mock up the bumper, and I don't think this is gonna be the permanent setup that we'll have, but we'll definitely take some time to at least assess everything and just see how the front end looks, because I'm really curious to see.
Yeah, me too. Let's do it.
So stay tuned for the next episode where Ray and I work into the night putting the front end on the BMW back together and then using JB Weld to make sure that it stays in place. And I wanted to take a moment here to thank my patrons on Patreon. If you're looking to join our Discord server, get early access to content, as well as see exclusive posts and polls, consider joining us on Patreon, which I'll have linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.